Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 213, and today we're going to be doing battle with Draven Jinx. And so, this is our first set of battles with the release of the 319 patch, the infamous Hey, Let's Nerf Seraphine patch. And there's a few cards here that I really want to take advantage of. First and foremost, Legion Rearguard, right? This is the one. Doesn't matter, it's not in the patch notes. This is the one that everyone's excited to be coming in and trying out, right? Rearguard, our boy. I love you so much, man. No, but the cards we're talking about in all seriousness, Jinx, I know it's tough to see here, but on her level up, she now generates a Super Mega Death Rocket, so you don't have to do nearly as much work to get the Death Rocket in hand. And this is what we're using to kind of fill in that Decimate space, right? Generating a 4-cost burn spell, same thing, right? They both do 4 to the face, but Jinx is granted a little bit different, right? This is not guaranteed to put a Death Rocket in our hand. We've really designed our deck for that to happen, but you're not necessarily guaranteed to have that damage when you want it. But also on the flip side, it's not just a completely dead card, right? Decimate does literally nothing unless it actually ends the game, to where Jinx can come on board, she can attack, she can draw some cards, she can make Death Rockets, she does all kinds of shit that's loads and loads of fun. And so a little bit different, I agree, but hopefully the extra power from Jinx here and then those extra Death Rockets really fills in that Decimate space nicely. Card number 2 is going to be the Darkened Ballista. I was happily playing the Darkened Ballista in some of our Nox and aggro decks before they removed the damage to self component, but now it's even better. And so the Darkened Ballista does a lot of work in this deck. We can use it as a pure damage source with the likes of our Poros from the Poro Cannon. We can use it to make our challenges better from the Flame Chompers or the Flame Chompers generated from the Boom Baboon. And then the late game generation of the Naganika of Zareta is extremely relevant. Typically in these discard Draven decks, you're looking to play Vi, you're looking to play Scion, you may have Decimates, you probably have the 4-3 fearsome last breath discardy thing. And since we've kind of cut all that expensive stuff as the means to try and flip our Jinx, having access to this good early, good late kind of card is kind of pivotal in closing out those games that grind on for just a little bit. And so loads of combos coming out of this, and it's nice that it's not going to deal an extra 4 or 6 damage to us every single game that we play it. Last card to talk about in here is the Ionian Hookmaster, and from playing in the practice games, I can tell you this unit is much worse. I'm most certainly happy to be coming in here, generating equipment and getting the value that we get out of the improvise, but not generating like a 3-1 quick attack or a 3-1 overwhelm all of the time is definitely weaker. And I think it's not so much in terms of the damage that it deals, right? It's not that I care that it does like 2 or 3 less damage to the opponent each game. It's in the sense that it can't kill a 3-attack unit now. And so most of the good value blockers in the game are still good against the Hookmaster, and I still assume that we're going to be seeing a bunch of Seraphine, which is good against the Hookmaster, good against the likes of Boom Baboon, and can still give us some fits. But, it's day 1 of the new format. I'm happy to play some rear guards. I'm happy to get to try out these new cards. Happy to see Seraphine catch a nerf. Happy all around. Let's go ahead and jump on in and get to battle. And so I checked to see. We love to pay the pay-to-win price out here. It's already been paid. Everything's all premium in here. We're pool partied up. We got the Arcane Jinx. Things are looking good. The Naganika isn't premium, but I'm pretty sure every other card in our deck was. And so, yeah, that makes up for it. I assure you that pay-to-win price has been paid. Good stuff. You know who's not going to get the pay-to-win price? Marvel Snap. I've been through the dramatics. I got banned for using the name Butt Stuff 420. And then here's how it goes. People complain about Riot all the time. Sure, I'm sure a lot of your complaints are valid. But here was the sequence with Marvel Snap. And so I get banned. You sign in. The way that you find out is that you basically sign in and it says, oh yeah, you're banned. Talk to support, we'll fix this. Is there a support email? No. You have to use the support within the game client, which does not work on PC, only works on mobile, and it's taking you to some kind of offshore's support page, which fine, I get. That's a nice cost-saving measure for sure, but the support stuff is just full of errors. It has a bunch of bad grammar. It has a bunch of bad instructions in it. And then you can't actually chat with someone in there to the best of my knowledge. I left the app open for like 15, 20 minutes. Didn't hear back from anyone, closed it down, turned it back on the next day. And that was when it gave me notifications that I spoke to a chat person, but I was unable to actually speak. And so I just uninstalled it. You know, you eventually just got to say fuck all this noise, and that's what happened there. I was not really looking to get big into it. I was just looking for something to do when I wasn't in the mood to play Runeterra, and just whatever. I'm done. I'll spend all my extra monies on Runeterra. Just whatever. So it feels good. Feels good to pay that pay to win price. Maybe we should have come in and leveled up our Naganika just to show the world how you can spend money on cosmetics, but didn't do it. All right, though, back to the action, though. We'll quit talking about other companies' games. Yeah, that was a pretty decent make it rain. You know, got 2 of our units. At least a piece of it hit the 3/2 unit. But we're here in this space. We're just trying to clear out our hand. So I think it's safe to add Jinx. She's not safe here, right? He's playing what appears to be the kind of burn decky version, or the control decky version of Swain, Twisted Fate, Annie. So I suspect that Jinx is going to be getting hit with a burn spell and removed kind of quickly, but we do need to be coming out here and spending all of this mana. So we'll be a little bit more careful with the one that we have in hand. But 1 health units all over the place. Little scary, given what we've been facing here. And all right, now we pick up a Draven. Draven can get the Flame Chompers on board, which we can then load up with the Naganika. That sounds pretty good to me. Did opponent auto pass that turn, or are they just hitting the button really fast? I didn't quite catch what happened there. Heavy metal, sure. All right, Flame Chompers in. Equipment attached. Ready to attack. See if he's got some more of those nasty removal spells for us. Dude's been showing his love of the removal spell today, so let's see if he's got some more. Alright, so we can get the Jinx going this turn. Ooh, the Darkened Harpoon. Check that out. So we're got to be a little bit slower, but I think this is okay. If he wants to spend a removal spell on our Jinx, we can still flip her with the Poro Cannon Hookmaster, and then ideally, you know, we're going to get the Death Rocket, be doing some card draw next turn. Living that happy life. Hope you all are out there living that happy life, you know, making those good things happen. Got some cats over here trying to live the happy life. Let's see. Let's see if we can get him up here. Oh my gosh. So heavy. So heavy. Here we go, though. It says, what up, world? What up, internet? Are you happy to see me? He is not happy about what was going on there. But alrighty, let's see if we can't get this going. If we can empty out the board fast enough, we can drop another Death Rocket and get a full clear. Looks pretty good to me. Let's lead in with the rear guard. You know, if he's going to start dropping AoEs and stuff or trying to kill our Jinx, we can still at least have, hopefully, a point of health left on him. Daring Poro comes in, says, what up? Now, this is where the decision work comes in. I think we just want to send the Nox and Fervor to face, right? We're getting really close to the lethal. So let's actually just... If we're going to, like, stop here for just a moment, like, how much do we even really need to generate the Death Rocket right now, right? All I really care about with this turn is the 3 damage from the Poros, the 3 damage from the Nox and Fervor, and then the 4 damage from the Death Rocket. I don't think... I don't think that we have to be too clever and try and clear out all of these 1 health units. I think we can pretty safely just try and get our damages in like this. Drop a Nox and Fervor. and then see if we can't win with the Death Rocket. Right? The downside to this angle is he can now play a removal spell on the Legion Rearguard, but we should be pretty safe with all these Poro damages coming in. He's doing something. Uh-oh. Bringing a good game, doing the mathematics. Let's see what happens.
Less thinking, more pew-pewing.
Yeah, dude, less thinking, more pew-pewing. Good job, Jinx. Get us that victory. GG. All right, round 2. Super Mega Death Rockets putting in the work, right? That was 8 damage of Death Rockets. You don't get that much damage out of Decimates, and so good stuff. Good stuff. Very powerful. Much powerful. many strengths coming at you. All right, I assume this is the Elusives deck, old Teemo Zoe. Kind of interesting playing up against it when we have access to Poro Cannons, and so we have the surprise blockers that you wouldn't get out of a more standard standard deck. All right, what up, Draven? I missed you so much, man. I got to play some Path of Champions the other day and had Draven in a deck on a run against Draven, and man, it was so enlightening. I haven't got to play with Draven in so long. I forgot how much fun it could be. Look at that! Look at that! He's ready for the pool party. Look at that! If you caught my patch notes review, you know about my level of hype for the pool party skins because everybody's just out here having fun and having a good time, and it's just not something you get out of the. Not something you get out of the corrupted skins and the infernal skins and the mean skins. And so I was pretty happy with the Spirit Blossom skins because they were all kind of happy in nature as opposed to some of these ugly ones. All right, let's take a peek at what happens here. Well, I'm going to add the other Poro and then try and Mystic Shot this turn. It's not a real strong guarantee. This deck plays a bunch of combat tricks, and so... Well, that's not the way I expected it. So we just get to kind of pick and choose what we want to do now. I was leaning towards taking down the Flight, but the Flight's going to lose out on a point of attack if it does hit. Right? I'm saying, like, what if we now just Mystic Shot Zoe, then he attacks with his 2 units, we take the 4 from the Flight, and then maybe block Esmith? I think I'm on board with this. I just don't want Zoe to get boosted by the Esmith, because we just can't block then, right? As it stands right now, we have good blocks onto Zoe, but he has the chance to kind of take that away from us. Let's see what we draw first. Oh, hang on. That was not as beautiful as I had planned. we don't have the way to get our Dravens on board now. Well, we can. We just lose out on a card. We can't get the Grenadier happening. Right. I think this is still good enough. We don't have to be in a big hurry here. To punch in for 6, something dies. We can follow up with Draven if we need to. Losing out on the Chompers is okay. All the Pale Cascades. The palest of Cascades. Hi. This does also open us up to Whirling Deaths. I don't think they're going to be too spectacular this game, but, you know, we could do some stuff to where we discard a Spinning Axe onto a Daring Poro, then the Daring Poro Whirling Deaths down something else. You know, options. Always good to have an option.
Unseen, unheard.
Look at that. Look at that. I got the big time poros out here. All right, so how are we going to do this? We could just take 12. I think that's fairly safe. Like, the thing with this deck is it doesn't have access to burn, right? So he's going to lose a blocker in the flight. We can put another unit on board next turn with the Reborn Grenadier. I think this is okay. Jinx turns up. Perfect. Where you at? I want to discard the Grenadier. Put the bonus on our smallest unit. Send a squad. That feels like a very ambitious block. I think this deck does play... I think it does play... What are you called? What am I thinking of here? Guiding Lights. But we'll see. So the new thing to kind of be curious about here is we're going to get a Spinning Axe from Draven, which we can then discard to get excited. I think I want to Whirling Death in this combat with something that isn't Draven. So let's try and send our 3/1 Poro into the Esmuth. Then the idea here is he's going to fall to 1. We're going to have the Get Excited that we can send to face via the Spinning Axe. And then if that all fails, we'll still have the Jinx back up to try and Death Rocket him out of the game. Oh, hang on, that didn't work out quite how I wanted. I didn't realize the Ballista was coming back. I think that's okay. I don't think it's something we have to really worry about here, but it was not intended. Then if he spends some more mana, we'll get excited. If he doesn't, we'll play Jinx. All right, just the awkward spot you can run into next turn is drawing a discard card and not being able to play it. All right, GG. We got him. The W marked for bust. Yay, up against the old dragons. I was curious how the dragons would pan out in this world of different rallies. Just it was a deck that didn't really need them to a large degree. It still played them, of course, but it didn't like need to have the big rallies. And I'm curious how it stands in this new format. Now, with this, what's going to happen in this game is we're not going to play for value. Opponent is just going to start putting bigger units than we have on the board. And so I'm not going to skip out on adding a Zonite Urchin so we can play it like 5 turns from now and discard a Boom Baboon. I just want to get as much damage on the board as fast as I can and try and burn them out. So Boom Baboon in. Hopefully we can punch in a few points here. So yeah, see stuff like the Egghead Researcher causes a lot of problems. He wasn't the one I was specifically thinking of, but he's going to play like a 3/4 next turn, and then he's going to play a Shyvana on turn 4, and it just shuts down all of our combats. So we can get one big attack in next turn, and then we probably have to start counting on burn. I wouldn't really expect us to be able to... I wouldn't expect us to be able to deal combat damage after this next turn. Let's leave the Egghead Researcher up. We can hook it with the Flame Chompers. And the Shyvana, sure.
Most are cruel, vicious, and deadly.
All right, dude number 1, you're on board. Want to discard this other Flame Chompers, boost our little one. This Flame Chompers is now going to hook the Egghead Researcher. And let's just punch in the rest of the damage where we can. So we'll discard the Grenadier, boost up one of our smaller bros. Send the damage as such. See if we can't come in for 10. That gets us pretty close. Pretty close. Sharp sight, absolutely. So what we're kind of looking at next turn is if we'll draw a card, don't care what it is. Then we can play Jinx and then immediately Rummage and get her to level up. But the downside to that is we're not going to get to play that Death Rocket. So we might want to wait until next turn before we try those shenanigans. Not blocking this Researcher though. Alright, so little danger here. If he has like a single combat, he could try and take down our Jinx. We do have the option to flip, but I don't want to have to necessarily take it. Alright, so we're definitely getting the rocket now. And we definitely have a fully wide board. So hopefully this is our big turn. Did you not flip? I thought we have the empty hand. I thought that's how that works. Is it because the Risen Rider comes back? Fine. You know what? Fine, game. Be like that. We might still have a lethal. Much more challenging now. I didn't think the Risen Rider came back until after the discard, but you always got something new to learn, am I right? Be cool if he just didn't have any more plays. Right? If he's sitting on a handful of like sharp sights and expensive dudes. That would be pretty cool. So we're one short now. Unfortunate. But game most certainly still within our reach. Just pick up that Mystic Shot. Make things easy. Nox and Fervor. It's a little scarier, right? He gets to just attack and have a removal spell in hand. There we go. Let's use the Legion Rearguard. We just need to get 1 point of damage in. And he's never blocking, and so send it into the face place. GG. You know what we just did? Just marked it a W for bust. Cool. Next battle. Yeah, playing the burn spells feels so good, doesn't it? I know you all missed it. I know you missed it so much. Just out here trying to play Tumbles and Seraphines and shit. Nah, man. Give me a Legion Rearguard any day of the week. Gotta remember that, though, with our discard guy. I thought that it counted as your hand being emptied, with, even though I knew he came back. It was kind of odd. Okay. So let's see. I'm not really interested in any of this hand. I want a 1-drop, and I want a Mystic Shot. And so I'm not going to discard both Hookmasters. Like, if we have nothing to do on 1 and nothing to do on 2, then that's just a complete disaster. But I really don't want to be starting with this thing. I want to find a way to take down Zed. We're gonna be the control deck in this match, and so having that burn spell to take down a Zed can be critically important. Now this next turn is to where like the things like the Hookmaster weakening really start to frighten me, in that if he plays like the 2/3, right? The 2/3 that gives your ephemerals +1/+1. We just can't attack into it, right? None of our guys are big enough to really deal with that. We do have like a fallen rider that we can drop and try and use fearsomes with, but right, this really sucks with the boom baboon. You all remember the days of Ionian Hookmaster having 1 attack and boom baboon having 3? Those were the days, weren't they? you filthy control players probably want to go back to the days when Legion Rearguard just had 1 health. Nah, man. F that noise. F that noise. Alright, but we have reasonable enough attacks now. It's tough for him to block a Fallen Rider. He has to, like, play that Horsemaker spell, or that's about it, right? He has to make a bunch of ephemerals or play a Zed. None of that's really appealing for the Fallen Rider. Then he's never going to have a good block for Draven. Now, the question is going to be, on this upcoming turn, do we want to get excited Zed, right? If opponent has a combat trick, then it's a real pain in the butt. If we spend the get excited resources into Zed and then it just doesn't do anything. And so we'll see. We'll see if he spends any mana. This is a decent opening to go for it, but probably ought to just switch to Poro Cannons. I think I'm actually just going to discard this Hookmaster. We're never going to use it. And I'm kind of interested in just having an extra spinning axe. He brings in Sapling. We're free to just kill Zed now, but do we want to kill Zed pre-combat? Like, we have to assume he's going to attack with everybody. He's going to hook Zed with the Sapling. That's fine. Then we can have 2 Poros block his Poros. Okay, this is good. And then we can just get excited Zed in the middle of combat. He leaves his ephemerals at home. Even better. We'll prevent the damage just in case, but the get excited should be enough to take him down. Now, the interesting thing coming up here on turn 5 is we can we discard our whole hand and get Jinx on the board? We're going to have 1 card too many. Okay. Ooh. That's a different story, though, with the Grenadier. We don't have the mana. Okay. I was counting on something big there. it didn't quite come to fruition. So we'll just value up a little bit and count on this Jinx a couple turns from now.
The sunrock got me good.
Interesting, with the second Flame Chomper. It's like we can potentially take down both Shadow Apprentices. We do end up losing out on the Reborn Grenadier that way. Do we? No, we still have the space on the board for everything. Okay. So we can play a Spinning Axe, discarding the Chompers, boosting the one that we have on board. Yay. Then we can play a second Spinning Axe, discarding Grenadier, boosting the other Chompers. We get to send the squad. Hook in these Ephemeral Bros. He's going to block a 2/1 or something and then take 6. And that gives us some potential next turn to get this Jinx popping off with the Death Rockets. Got a couple extra points of mana. So if we get the Death Rocket down now, then we should be able to just burn him out next turn.
We play for the people and sing for the land.
See how this goes.
You and me, Fishbones. And them.
Come, the journey ahead is long.
I'm on a roll.
All right, Death Rocket incoming. Should be pretty safe. Like, If he has the like Haunted Relic, that was going to be kind of frightening, but I think we're safe with this board. He got the big damage boost, that's okay. He's gonna bring in a Shark Chariot for an additional 3 damage, but this isn't enough to lethal us. $11 takes us to 6. Sure. All right, let's get that Death Rocket going.
Now it's a party.
Now it's a party. Darkwater Scourge. Ew. I wonder how much problem that can actually cause. He's not going to have any strike cards, though. Going to put this on Jinx. I don't know the removal cards he's going to be playing, but it's like in the realm of possibility he has a way to deal 1 damage, which would counterspell the Nox and Fervor. But he shouldn't have a way to deal 4 damage to kill Jinx here. Alright, good stuff. Good stuff. GG. Y'all know what we're doing again. Marking W's for bust. My favorite part of the day. Alright. Next battle. It was kind of a shame Jinx didn't see much play for that long. It's like she was kind of the forefront, the poster child of the game, with Arcane coming out and drawing in a lot of the new crowd. And it's like you load up the game and you play through the Jinx Path of Champions or whatever it is, and then you find out she's not that great of a card in the Lands of Constructed. And so it's kind of unfortunate. I know it's happened with Magic a few times in terms of they would put like a card art onto something, like like packaging for the game or whatever, and it's sometimes a casual card and sometimes a constructed kind of card, but sometimes it's just a real dud. Nobody wants that shit. Alright, this is kind of a painful start. I was looking for a way that we could get the Legion Grenadier cheated onto the board and just have a good block, say like with our friend Zonite Urchin here, but it didn't come together as exactly how I wanted to. And so I think we could probably still safely just drop the Urchin and get the Grenadier onto the board. Opponent's not going to want to attack into it, but we'll see how they approach the turn.
Come on, Dippers.
Still bringing in Annie's. Okay, it's a good blocker, good attacker.
Finger on the trigger. Captain's orders. Pull it to the face.
And the Jin in hand. So I think this should be okay. Annie is, right on track to be flipping. And we probably shouldn't have played the weapon. That turned out to be pretty sloppy. I didn't anticipate a third 1-drop coming down onto the board. It's kind of weak for us in the upcoming turn. But like if looking at it this turn, we weren't going to be able to get the Boom Baboon onto board to get the Flame Chompers, to get the equipment, and then hook in Annie that way. All that sequence was never going to happen. So what we're hoping and dreaming for now is that we'll be able to pop this Annie before she flips. It doesn't look like we'll be able to, but if he adds Jin to the board, then we can. And say if he just open attacks, we can't. But we definitely have an answer to Annie. As I said, didn't want the Tibbers going into hand. Then the future Annie's getting the bonus as well. How dangerous can this be? I don't think it's that bad. Well, I was thinking about in terms of flipping our Draven. We can spinning axe and then flip Draven this turn. Maybe we do it this way. Oh. Need to spinning axe. Oh, this doesn't work right. Oops. I'm slopping it up again. He's gonna die in combat before he flips. I think we still want to take down the Annie, but we have to stop here. We didn't miss out on too much. We lost a spinning axe, but definitely sloppy. It's only appropriate I'll bust out here turning these plays into a real slop fest. Just a standard bust video, you know? Whoa, and the conservatory did not expect that to come down. You usually don't see that in Annie Gen. It's just so slow. The games are usually done before the conservatory matters, but he's hit a ton of skills this game, so Tybalak's definitely on the table. I think if we're gonna be real with this one, we're just gonna switch into Poro mode. And so I'm looking at this here. I think we just want to discard the Boom Baboon. I guess we could play the Baboon and then still have... Maybe he's okay. We can still take a unit down in this combat. Like it is kind of nice to be able to take the Tusk Speaker off of the board since he's going to be able to overwhelm us next turn. Also, he can currently block the Risen Rider, which is not ideal. Okay, so Daring Poro. You don't have. Well, I guess you can play Jin. I was like, you don't have any plays, dudes. Quit doing stuff. But you can get Jin on the board. So as this stands, we can put the Darkened Ballista onto the Flame Chompers and save our spinning axes. I think that seems okay. Come in like this. Attack with our friends here. If he wants to block the Risen Rider, it has to be with Jin. Okay. Dude's dropping emotes and stuff. See how it goes. Want to get the Naganika on board. That's what it's all about. See you, friend. You fought hard. You fought hard. I won't take that away from you. So that would take us to 1. That's probably too much. We can add Tybalak next turn we don't care about. Well, what's his gen at? Yeah, if we fall to 1, then he's able to kill us with just a single skill. So we'll block the rear guard, give us a little bit of buffer. It's going to be real tough for us to burn him out from here. Might be able to do it with a Jinx. Yeah, but it's going to be tough. Overwhelm represents potential damage. Probably not happening, but represents. Alright, see what we draw. We could have played the Ballista, but if he has a stun in hand or something, that can feel a little awkward. Now what's the best we can do? We can do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Need to come up with 4 damage for the next turn. Oh, we should not. I like that even less. Could have maybe won with a Nox and Fervor. If we'd saved the spinning axe for a Poro, just discarded the rear guard. Maybe. The rear guard's just doing absolutely nothing this game, though, right? He attacks and doesn't do anything. So he wasn't super effective.
seek forgiveness, we must commit all.
Well, there's the reason I didn't want to play the Ballista last turn, but we're outmatched here. It's too much too fast. Whenever you're up against this, you like really need the unit on the first turn, and that turbocharged Annie was really a pain to deal with. But GG. Trying to think if there was just if there had been we didn't have the spinning axes. Trying to think if there's just a way to have a 2/2 flame chompers on the second turn, and not really is the answer to that. I have been less and less happy with this Hookmaster, though. It probably just needs to come out of the deck. Wait, I'm gonna discard our burn spell. Just try and get dudes on the board. Nox and Fervor is kind of a last spell of the game that you play. Okay, let's see what happens. I think there's like a real shot that he just plays something like Nora this turn, and then we can look to just hook her with the Flame Chompers. It wasn't the case, but I think there's a very real chance we get to punch in for 4 damage and still have the Flame Chompers for use on a follow-up turn. So it does suck against these decks and their ability to generate these blockers right off the top. But what was that? He hit something else? Oh, he hit an Elnick. Put a random Elnick in the top 6. Okay. Okay. Well, it must feel pretty good to put a to put a 2/2 on the board, have it trade with a unit, and then immediately convert it into a 3/4. I wouldn't know how something like that feels, but that's what just happened to us. Oh boy, we're just immediately hitting all of them. Okay. Okay. Sure. What's our space in? We can't kill this Nora. Our attacks aren't very good. We can add in Hookmaster, Rearguard, Urchin. See what that gets us. He's just way too far ahead in this game. Okay, GG.
So this is what losing feels like?
That's what losing feels like, Draven. It does suck. I know. I know. Well, what do you expect when your opponent plays a junk construct, trades it, and immediately turns it into a 3/4? Takes one Nora hit, and immediately makes another unit. You're just not beating that. All right, our first adventures in the lands of Seraphine. This is, again, something that kind of worries me, because if you look at a lot of our units, like the Hookmaster and then the Boom Baboon, the Zonite Urchin, they all just get completely shut down by Seraphine. But our boy Rearguard doesn't. He says, I got you, fam. If you're going to play games like that, just show up in full force. Say, F you, buddy. Brings his own Hookmaster. I think we want to play one. Let's see what he takes. Is that combat reel? Yeah. I want to spend all my mana next turn on units, and we're probably not able to do that if we drop double Rearguard here. Curious if we get a shutdown on his attack, right? He's not going to want to potentially trade away this Hookmaster, but then he loses out on the mana if he doesn't send it in. That's okay. That was a pretty expensive sequence.
You won't get past me.
All right, let's see if Seraphine comes down this round. I want to play our Zonite Urchin last, so we kind of have the knowledge to if we want to discard the Fallen Rider, or if we need to discard the Flame Chompers to come in and pick up the Seraphine to prevent her block. don't need to do it now, so we're good with the Fallen Rider. What up, Jinx?
Okay, ready.
Interesting. Really interested in picking up that spell mana.
About to reel it in.
Alright, we'll clear out the board now. You don't always want to be doing this, right? This is the kind of space to where we could probably get wider than their board, but he's dropping in high notes off of the block. That feels like a win. I guess he's just like really interested in picking up that spell mana.
The prettier the rose, the sharper the thorns.
All right. Is it too slow to add a Jinx? I mean, it's tough for this deck specifically to add units that are better. I think this is okay. We'll only have one spell mana after the fact. I think we just have to drop her. It's just like, it's pretty risky. Like, this is a game where we are 100% gonna have to be able to generate death rockets. And like, having the double Jinx in hand and knowing that you can discard a card and then like, you can get excited, deal the damage, and then get a death rocket in hand. It's a big sequence that we can pull off. Now it's like we're just gonna lose Jinx to a Ravenous Flock and not really pull anything off.
Delicate fop.
Fish meat face.
Okay. Well, if we don't lose our Jinx, it's gonna turn out to be a win. But I still feel like she's about to get popped by a Ravenous Flock. Nope, you survived? You're gonna make it through the turn? Ooh. That's interesting. With the combat reel, that does let us like Nox and Fervor the Jinx and have her not die. Still kind of a scary spot to be in, but there's some potential there.
Her songs just make you feel like you can do anything.
Then the other question for the turn. He plays Fan Club President, that's fine. We can play the Reborn Grenadier, discard the Flame Chompers, and then get Excited Face to generate another Death Rocket. I think I do like this. Like, if he didn't have the answer to Jinx last turn, he's probably not going to have the answer to Jinx this turn. And if we're presenting this position of getting multiple Death Rockets and drawing multiple cards next turn, right? We're going to hit him for 7 this round and take him to 5. That gets us in a pretty reasonable spot. Not a bad pickup from the old Fan Club President. All right, take him to 9. Okay, Hookmaster, Zonite Urchin. It's guaranteed we get a Death Rocket. Now a Mystic Shot? Maybe. Maybe that's enough. Is it the first time?
They don't know what they're up against.
How does this work? The first time a level up or you empty your hand. So we've already emptied our hand and we can't get more Death Rockets. Okay. Sad noise, please. Sad noise. Now he has the flock. Had to have just drawn it this turn. So that'll drop him to 5. Now we got to see if he's gonna block the Urchin with the Ezreal. Probably has to. So he could have another burn spell here. He's down to 2 cards and hasn't really been putting any effort into Jinx, and so like I don't know what the rest of his hand would be, but it doesn't feel like something you do when you have burn spells.
Obstacle, meet gauntlet.
Okay, makes sense. All right, well, what you got for us, deck? Something good, something exciting. Reborn Grenadier, it's a card. It's a card. Not what I'm really looking for as opponent cycles a Static Shock into a drum solo into a fan club president, but, you know, you're a card. You have text. All right, let's see what turns up now. Something good. Come on, deck. Get excited. Perfect. How'd we do? Did we get there? Is that enough? Got him. Turns out that it was. GG. Get your stupid deck out of here. That's what you gotta tell him, right? That's what you gotta tell him. Get your stupid deck out of here. All right. One more battle, though. The finalist of battles coming into game number 8. I'm excited. See what the new format brings. Ashe and Elise. Curious if this is some kind of like fearsomes deck, right? You do have that minor combo between the Frostbites and the fearsomes. I would assume it's some kind of control decky kind of thing, but I don't know. I don't know, fam. All right, well, let's see if opponent has any of his really high-powered cards. This Legion Rearguard was actually a fantastic draw. If he's playing some kind of control decky thing and dropping Vile Feasts on us, then we're just going to get smoked this round. But the Rearguard lets us play around all of that. Kind of same deal if he was going to drop an Elise. She would just smoke everything, and it would be a real problem. But our boy Rearguard coming through in the clutch. I don't know how you feel, but I appreciate it. Draven was a great draw as well. We were like right on the edge of just not having enough stuff to do. Getting the spinning axe and the unit and the extra value for the guy. Yeah, feels good. Feels good. Okay, so yeah, not a bad set of games. Not a bad set of games. I must say that playing with Jinx in practice feels much better than I imagined it would. I felt like Jinx was spectacular today, and there was a lot of space in there that you have a lot of good quality decision making. And do I want to just like run the Jinx out, have the unit and attack? Do I want to set up the Death Rocket? And then I think it's like the way that you need to think about Jinx now, because it's so easy to get that Death Rocket, right? It used to just be like a real pain to actually pull that off, to have her see the empty hand and have everything work out perfectly for you to get that rocket. I think now, do you think of the card as being the Death Rocket in your hand? And then Jinx is just kind of the side effect. And you're actually building around the Death Rocket in a way that you would build around a Decimate. I think that's kind of interesting way to look at it. But however you do, I was quite pleased with the Jinx. I thought she worked pretty well here today. Also reasonably happy with the Darkened Ballista. That was a good space here. It's cheap. It's effective to put on the Poros. It's effective to put on the onto the Flame Chompers. The thing I typically didn't like about Flame Chompers and your standard discard Draven, your Draven Scion Vi, is you didn't have anything to boost them with other than the spinning axes. And so having just a little bit of something that can make them have relevant combats is quite good. I like that aspect there. But the thing I did not like here today was Ionian Hookmaster. We are gonna just have to find something to replace this thing. I tried it earlier, and I was just kind of like, maybe, maybe not. You know, it is nice to have a unit that can come down early and provide some value, but if you aren't hitting like a couple of very specific equipment, then this is gonna feel terrible. Like I feel like. The combat reel, the +2/+1 along with the spell mana is far and away the best one that you can hit. But once you start looking at the just like the +2 attack ones that don't really provide a lot of other values, like the quick attack one doesn't feel as good as it used to because you aren't big enough. The overwhelm doesn't feel good enough because you're not big enough. And just like a lot of the equipments just don't feel that good anymore. And playing a deck like this, we're just not going to have the time to try and make a bunch of improvised plays, and so or play the equipment late. And so I think that there's still something quite strong here with the deck. Some of the numbers might need tweaked a little bit, but I think the core is good. And then we're really looking to just cut the Hookmaster out for some other cards, something that doesn't suck anymore. You heard it here first from Bust. The cards we're looking for are ones that do not suck anymore. But I think kind of an interesting thing as the next set comes out as well is the Nox and Cultist spell hasn't been released yet. At least I don't think it has been, right? There's the P and Z one. That's the one that does the 1 damage twice. But the Noxen spell I don't think exists anymore. And so maybe that would be something that would make us want to come back and revisit the Hookmaster. But as it stands right now, I didn't like it. But nonetheless, I had fun with that. Hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I hope your death rockets are all super mega. I hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.